What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Swish Life Garage, back here with it on the Prelude. If you guys saw my previous video, I did do the timing belt on the motor on the H23a1. Next thing I'm going to do is set the valve lash on the motor. Let's go ahead, get underneath the hood and get right at it. Did jack up the driver's side here and put a jack stand underneath. Turn the wheel all the way left. So by doing that, I do have access to the crank here on the side. More than likely I'm going to take down the splash shield a little bit so I don't have to go through this hole. Just a lot more access to the crank, but I'll be able to turn the crank and turn the motor so I could properly set the valve lash. Took down the splash shield, took down 3 10mm bolts. I need to go ahead and take off the valve cover. Got to remove the PCV valve, got to remove the hose, take off the spark plug wires, and as well remove the wire for the alternator. But of course I do got to disconnect the battery since I got to mess with the positive wire. I'm also going to be taking out the spark plugs. It's going to make it easier to turn the engine, but as well I'm going to be replacing them. The valve cover has been removed, spark plugs removed, and now can start adjusting the valves and setting the valve lash. As you can see here, there looks to be about a 12mm lock nut, and then you have the adjusting screw with the flathead there. You can adjust it. Of course, like the other Honda motors, to adjust the #1 valve, #1 cylinder, you're going to have the cam lobe up position facing all the way up 90 degrees, and then you'll be able to adjust the #1 cylinder. But what you can also do is whenever the cam is facing all the way up, just like these valves over here, cam facing up, and then the valve can be adjusted. So that is another way to adjust it. The intake valves are going to be at 0.004 and the exhaust is going to be at 0.006. So I'm going to get started on here. Like I said, you can do it by doing cylinder by cylinder, by rotating the crank in its different positions. So #1 cylinder with the up position in 90 degrees, able to adjust the 2 exhaust and 2 intake. And then if you have the up position facing all the way left, you're able to adjust the #3 cylinder, and then up position all the way down, #4 cylinder, and then facing right, up position facing right would be adjusting the #2 cylinder. I'm going to adjust it by the cam facing up, then adjust them just like that. It's going to take a little bit of time. Let's get it. I was trying to record myself working on the motor, but I'm still having some issues with this memory card as of now. But everything has been adjusted. They were very loose, like ridiculously loose. I had to put quite a few turns into it till it started getting to its proper clearance. Right now I'm going to be throwing the valve cover right back on. Valve cover is on, the wire for the alternator is on. I did already connect the battery together, but I did take out the spark plug. But I am going to put in some new NGK iridium spark plugs here. The part numbers for this one here is ZFR6FIX-11, and then have 6441. Then have a new rotor for the distributor from Bosch. This one 04278, as well a new cap, part number 5D1169A, and this one, if you guys see, it says NGK NTK. And then I did purchase the NGK spark plug wire set, part number RC-HE77. I'm going to quickly just replace this pretty easily. Take off the screws for the cap on the distributor. Would be able to expose the rotor for the distributor, and I already have a ratchet on the crank and can easily turn it, so can get that out. I'm going to slightly turn the motor so I could get the screw here for the rotor. The screw is a Phillips. So the screw is loose, but this is tied on there, man. And usually that's what happens. They get rusted on there. As you guys can see, this is rusted. Let me go grab some sandpaper, take that rust on off, and then we'll get the new one put on. Alright, there you go, some sandpaper taken to it, and put a little bit of oil in there just to help out with that rust there. So let me put on the new rotor. Put the plastic cover back on. Brand new gasket came with the distributor cap. There's the cap, copper contacts. This one looks pretty good. Now going to install the spark plugs. Final thing gotta do, install the spark plug wires. Everything on the motor has been put back, and as well I did put the splash shield on, took the jack stand out, and the car is back on the ground. One of the last things I want to do is set the timing, the ignition timing on the motor, make sure it's correct. Should be at 15 degrees. I already have the timing light here already connected to the positive, negative, and as well on the number 1 cylinder, so should be good to go on here. And then of course loosened up the 3 12 mils that hold on the distributor. Got one here, one on the back side, one down in the center in the bottom there, so it's able to be moved back and forth. Then on the inside of the interior, gonna find the blue plug behind the center console, put a jumper wire so when you start the car, solid engine light should be on, and that's so there won't be any sort of computer input whenever trying to adjust the timing. Let me go ahead and start it on up and get started. The ignition timing has been set. I already tightened up the distributor, put the cap back on here for the inspection of the timing marks on there. Took out the timing gun, and as well on the inside took out that jumper wire. So let me start it on up. Should sound a lot better with those tighter valves and the timing set on the engine. you guys have it. The engine sounds a whole lot better if you guys had heard it through the camera. So that's taking care of the valve clearances, the spark plug wires, spark plugs, distributor cap, and the rotor for the distributor. And then of course, just to finish it on up, set the ignition timing on the motor. Let me know if you guys have any questions down below in the comment section, if there's anything I missed or anything that you guys need to know. If you found this video helpful, make sure you guys like this video and are subscribed to the channel. Go ahead and check out all the other content I have on the Hondas, on the 4th Gen Prelude, and as well 5th Gen Prelude. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. Make sure to check out the other videos because I'm going to catch you on that next one, player.